You know how people have stalkers? I had one, but in school. It started beginning of the school year when he sat in front of me, and one day he just turned around, like second day of school maybe, and just gave me a fist bump, or he gave me like a thumbs up, and I was like, this kid's pretty chill, he just wants to make friends. And I'm like, okay. We started talking, and then that's when I realized something was a little off about him. Literally in class, he would just randomly turn around and just stare at me, and I would literally, you can be nice, but it got to a point where I was literally just being straight up mean to him. Like, I didn't even care. Like, I literally go like, the board is up there, and like he would just be like, okay. And he would sit in front of me, so he would like bend his back backwards and look at me. Oh, so bad. And I was literally like, this is not happening. Like, what even? And he was in another one of my classes, so I had 2 classes with him. Anytime the teacher would be like, all right guys, get off your phones, he would turn around to me, and if I was on my phone, he'd be like, like, what? And in my other classes, if I walked by him, he would always be like, or like mumble something. Then it got to a point where I was like, okay, can you actually please stop talking to me? Like, stop staring at me in class. It's so weird. And this is what he said to me. He said, the more you tell me to stop, the more I want to keep going. Like, what? That is when I actually started filming our interactions, because I seriously thought something was going to happen to me. Time went on, and in the class where he sat in front of me, even the teacher noticed something was off. So I went to the teacher and I was like, can you please move him from me? Like, seriously, I'm so uncomfortable. Like, he actually freaks me out. And when the seating plans changed, I stayed in the same spot. I sat way in the back, and he sat right on the opposite corner. I was like, bless, teacher, thank you. But he would still turn and look at me. Oh my god. Like, I still remember the way he look. Oh my gosh. My breaking point though was when I took a different route to that class one day, and it was like a pretty empty hallway, and I turned around, I'm not even joking, I saw him peeking out, and then when I looked, I was like, this is not actually happening. I was actually like shaking. It was like, is this real? Like, no way that guy was real. And pretty sure something was actually off with him, but it got to the point where I was just like, It finally took one last being like, hey, please stop talking to me, just please do not come near me. Finally he snapped out of it, and so basically anytime he'd walk by me, he would just like be awkward, like he wouldn't move, like just to let me go through, because he didn't want to like touch me or whatever. Thank you, you know. And he did get expelled this year, finally, when another occurrence happened. I wasn't the only person. This happened to a lot of girls, which is like, and they only now, so it was just like, and the thing was, I didn't want to start stalking him because he's really popular. Like, he's actually super popular with the boys, and like he's like popular and like he's like the weird kid type, you know. And I heard he's coming back to school this year, so.
My parents missed my wedding to go to my little brother's football game, and now they're blaming me for not reminding them. My little brother is the golden child, not because he has done anything to earn it, just because, honestly, I think it's because he's a total mama's boy. Like, a weird amount mama's boy. My mom is now like one of those internet memes of no girl will ever be good enough for my son, like weird boy mom. And I'm just kind of the black sheep of the family. Nobody really cares what I'm up to, and that's how it's always been. My dad has been a little bit better about not showing clear favoritism, but he's too much of a coward to stand up to my mom. The amount of times that I've had to take the blame for something that my brother had clearly done is infinite. I was literally always the one in trouble. Oh, and my brother knows this and has rubbed it in my face since we were kids. He always says that no matter what, my parents are always gonna love him more, and he can do absolutely no wrong. For example, I paid my entire way through college myself, while my parents did everything for my little brother, from paying his moving expenses to his room and board to his tuition. Where was that money when I was going to college? My fiance and I got engaged about a year ago, and we decided that we wanted a really small ceremony and reception, just family and close friends. So we mailed out the invitations, and everyone RSVP'd except my parents and my little brother. The next time I went over to family dinner, without mentioning the day was my wedding, I asked my parents and my brother if they were free on that specific date. And my mom immediately shut it down, saying that that was one of my little brother's football games and that they were going to go to that. I said, whatever, have fun at the game. Listen, they didn't even care when I got engaged, and I fully sent them an invitation that they didn't respond to. I'm not going to sit here and beg for them to want to come to my wedding. That should be something that they want to do and they're excited about. The fact that that date didn't even stick out in their mind as my wedding, but they could remember every single one of the days that my brother was going to have a football game, that spoke volumes. So my wedding day comes and it was absolutely amazing. No, my parents weren't there. My brother wasn't there. I mean, they didn't acknowledge it because they didn't even know what was happening. But my grandpa walked me down the aisle. My now husband's entire family was there. Our friends were there, and we had the most amazing time. We went to the honeymoon right after and went phone free. Completely turned them off for the entire honeymoon. But when we came back and turned them on, we were flooded with text messages. Obviously, family members had posted photos from the wedding, and one of my aunts had made a post that had a clear dig at my parents for not being there and for always favoriting my brother over me. My mom sent me a million text messages saying how cruel I was, how much I embarrassed their entire family, and how unfair it was for me to not tell them about my wedding. All I said was that I did tell you about my wedding. I sent an invitation. Then I later asked you about the date and you said you were busy. So you should have known. My brother has been sending me the most nasty text messages saying that I am the worst sister. How dare that I do this and embarrass the family. Like, okay, you're just mad because you lost your little football game, aren't you? But now I have no idea how to approach the situation. Was I wrong for not reminding them again about my wedding? But you shouldn't have to remind your parents that many times. And honestly, like, if they didn't want to be there and it wasn't a priority, I didn't want them there. I know that the entire time they would have been complaining about how I scheduled my wedding on the same day as one of my brother's football games. Do you know how many football games he has? Like, oh my gosh. Personally, I think they're getting what they deserve by getting backlash from other members of the family. For years, they treated me like I didn't matter and like I wasn't worth as much as my brother. And now other people are seeing how unfairly I was treated. Sorry you can't handle it.